Yo everyone, what up? Welcome back to Top Tier Arcade. My name is Steve, and we're back in the apartment. In this video, we're going to be doing the Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition. This is going to be part 4, and we're going to be really getting into the control panel and underneath, because we're going to change the buttons, and we're going to hook up the auxiliary buttons, and I'll show you what to do. So Mary, give me the camera. I'll show everyone what's going on. So what I've done is I've pre-cut and done the wire. So here's the game plan. So I just have a list of things just to make sure I don't forget. The game plan is this. You see these right here? I want to make this credit, the credit button, this the test switch so I can change the settings, and then this also a credit button, so credit 1, credit 2 for 1 and 2. Now I was going to actually do the third one an auxiliary or an aux button in case later on I'm going to, there's some sort of modification where I can control something more, but I'm like, meh, you know what, I want to make it easier. So it's going to say credit, test. Now, I do have a printed, I don't know if I'm going to do it, I've printed stickers for on top of these. Well, I'm going to do next video. And I'm going to clear coat them, or cover them, I should say, with clear tape, so that when I press them, they're not going to be, the sticker won't absorb. And so I'm going to see how that turns out, but again, I've kind of photoshopped it myself or put it in paint. So that's the game plan. Now, wire-wise, what we're going to do is, this and this are going to be the same wire, ideally. So what I've done, and then this is going to be running it. So we're going to run the wires down to here. See, on the left, is the test. On the right, it's the credit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go behind. Now I know the lighting's all out of whack because I got this second light from our bedroom, and you see behind here. Let me just sit down. This is the test, and then that is going to be, so the credit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, I have a little part, and I'll show you in 2 seconds, or a little piece that's going to, instead of soldering and then just splicing, there's a way that it does it for us. And I'm going to show you, and we're going to run it up there, and then kind of just double up the buttons. So these are going to still be active, and then the other ones will be as well. So let me just push this out a little, and I'll show you how I prepared for it. So I didn't want to do this part, so here's going to be the wires going from those buttons, and then later on connecting to this. So I've actually made kind of cut a daisy chain already, and I put the cover on it. Actually, it's black tape, and then I just kind of burned it like I would the cover, the slip cover. So that's organized, and they're already pre-cut. I have a couple new tools, so that works decently well. Keeping organized with the garbage, so I know the apartment's looking a little crazy. So I've just organized everything. So here are here's all the ground. So the first thing I'm going to do is put the daisy chain on, 1, 2, 3, the ground, and then take the line, which is, so there's going to be there's going to be a ground here, and then this I'm going to neatly put in this little harness thingy, and then put it to right here. Now, one of these buttons were active because they had other, like the buttons were attached, but it wasn't for a kick harness. It was for something else. So this should be active. So I'm going to just take the daisy chain from there, have a wire, rip it around, and then put it here, and then wrap it, tape it, burn it or whatever, so it covers it. So that's nice and neat. And then start that, and then from there have the credit. I've made kind of a daisy chain, so credit there to there, so it's all in one circuit, and this goes down to the credit, and then this one's going to go down to the test. So everything's been perfect. I kind of did it in my head. Then once that's working, we'll test it. Then what we'll do is take off, let me just come around. We're going to take off these screws and just remove this, because there's 2 washers. There's a washer here, and then there's a washer inside. So I guess they added 2. Take that off, because sometimes it gets a little stuck. These controls are awesome. They're Sanwa or whatever. I'm going to take later off this protective coating. So I'm going to take that off, and then once that's done, I have buttons here, and here are the buttons I bought. So these are actual Sanwa buttons. So we're going to be replacing them, and the big difference, and I'll show you later, and why I'm replacing them. Some people said, well, what the hell? Why are you going to change them? See the distance? Now, if you're a fighting game guy, you know the distance between that is long. I'll show you momentarily. These are way thinner. Do you see how they're almost like down? You don't have to press them as hard, and it doesn't click. It's not as clunky, because when you're playing, and we're playing competitively, to let go like that is longer than just tapping it like this. So I mean, I know it's kind of like a purist type thing, but as a fighting game guy, there's no option. And then also in that part, there's the ball. Instead of white, it's going to be red. So it's going to be red, red, white, and white. So I'm going to leave the stars white, so I'll get the contrast. And then the auxiliary buttons, I'm going to leave white, but I'm going to have a sticker on top of them. So now that we have the game plan, I'm going to pretty much set the tripod up. I'm going to start the, the workings. If it's getting too long, I'll just do a fast forward little montage for it, but I do want to show how I'm wiring it and see if it works, because it's the first time, I guess, I've done it, but I've been organized because I'm learning for every restore, no more screw-ups. So, and I want to keep the video tight, concise, and informative. So let's get to it. I'm going to set you up. I'm going to start, I guess, doing that. I won't have to solder, I don't think. But I do have it with me, within a line. So everything's nice and organized. I know it's kind of on the floor. And then I have the wire strip, or the wire ties. Those are ready to make it nice and neat. And then once the electronics work, we're going to do this. And that should be good for this video. And then I'll show you what we're going to do next video and pretty much complete this. So let me set you up, and let's start this. Okay, so we're set up nice and organized. Just to give you guys an interesting tip here, these Japanese, or I guess they're Chinese knockoffs, the Sanwa buttons, the little tips here that have the positive and the negative wire, they're smaller tips than the American ones. So if I put them in, they slide in and out too easily, as you can see there. Now, what I'm going to do is get the pliers, and I'm going to clamp down on them once we kind of figure out that everything works, like to kind of set them for good. So here, let's just do some testing here based on the wiring. So it's going to go there, and I have to fasten them. So that goes in, and then in here. And then later on, again, I'm going to get those wire ties and then tie everything nice and easy. Or nice and neat, I should say. So that's pretty much, that's how it's going to sit for now. So see this right here? Let me just see if you guys can... yeah, you will be able, sure. So right here this comes from the control panel. So what I'm going to do is I've already pre-stripped a thicker gauge wire just so it can go in more. So I've left extra room. So what I'm going to do is, I know it's going to be a little harder to see, but I'm putting this in. Very good. And I'm putting it in, and I'll show you a close-up. Maybe my wife can show it here, but in a second. But I'll pick it up anyways before I start to tape it down and then go. So I put that through, so that's good. Later I'm going to kind of bend it around and then tape it. So that's now done. The reason I want to do that one first is I kind of want to put this meat in here. You see this plastic thing? I want to feed it through properly so it doesn't look like it's almost intrusive or not part of kind of the whole setup. So let's see how fast I can do this. I don't want to take too much time on this. Okay, I actually stopped the camera because what's happened is, you see this wire here? Let me give you a closer example of what it looks like. You see that part right there where my finger is? That actually broke off. It's very cheap. So unfortunately now what I have to do is I have no choice and I have to solder. So I've wrapped around the thicker gauge wire around this. That's just there to hold it because I had to measure, and I also stopped the camera because I had to measure it, the wire, because it was too far. Because my wife's like, well, why are you going to do it all the way around? Do it halfway, tuck it under in this. I'm like, oh, smart. Yeah, tuck it in, and then it comes out here, which it has. And then I already tied it. I, again, took the wire that was stripped, and then the daisy chain, I just pulled them off because they kept coming. So and I'm going to maybe put a lot of solder right there. One, I would drop or two right there, and then put the black tape, the shrink tubing, or whatever, light it, and then have them like the other ones. Then, because to film that might be a little difficult because I'm going to be in the way, and I don't think it's going to be the best type of thing. So that's all I'm going to do is just take a dab of solder. Maybe, you know, what I'll do is maybe I'll film it. Let me just organize the wires and kind of have them there and wrapped, and then we'll kind of solder each together, and then I'll do the tape, light it, and then do all of them. Maybe I'll do like kind of a montage it, just so it doesn't take longer. And then we have to hook it in the back through the wires like we said. So we're gonna have to use these automotive clips, which I'll show you momentarily, and then hook it together. So a little difficult to tape because I'm gonna be, or to film because I'm gonna be in front. So let me do that and set it up, and then I'll just kind of take it one by one. We'll see where it goes. All right, so what I've decided to do is to actually put the wires, remember at the beginning of the game plan, I want to feed the wires up first because the daisy chain, they keep coming undone. So here's the game plan. Now, I purchased one of these. Where's the box? So I got this from an automotive store in Canada. I got them from Canadian Tire. If you're American, you can probably get them at like an Ace Hardware, maybe a Home Depot, or any type of automotive or electronic store. So they're 18 to 14 gauge wire. And what we're going to do is, instead of in there, like I said, let me take you. See right here? So instead of like splicing, and then we could, I'm like, why deal with that and whatever? But I bought these. They're around $10 Canadian. And the way it works, let me try to organize this, is this. So if this is the existing wire, so see where the end of the wire is? Tip right, that button. The way it works is this thing, it goes in. Now, if you look at this closely, and it can only go in through one way. See how on the left there it stopped? So what I'm going to do is just pretend this is the existing wire for, we'll say, credit. So it's going to go there. And then what we'll do is, then what we're going to do is take, so if this is the existing wire, we then put it this, I mean this is going to be not, this is the other side. Well, let me actually get the tip I'm going to put in. Okay, so this is the existing wire. We're going to put this in, and it can't go further, like it doesn't go in. So what we do is then get the plier, we press hard down on this, and there's this metal, I guess, touches both together, so they're spliced, and then we close this clamp down, and now we have the wire going from there, so keeping the existing one, and then taking this wire and putting it up to where we need it. So what we're going to do is, let me set you up if I can again to show it, but that's really very straightforward. I've never done this, so this should be interesting like always. So let me set you up. I'm going to be on the floor with you. I'll try to get a good angle, that's why I have the light here. And we'll clamp it down, see if it works, and then run the wires. We're going to do two. We're going to do one for the test and one for the coin. Because, and I'll show you up there, I've daisy chained the credit, because I'm going to have credit 1 and 2 the same. So it's the same, and I'll show you in a second, like almost like the daisy chain for the ground. So I'm going to, let's set this up. I'll just quickly cut away. Let's set it up, and let's try to do it live. Now before that, I'm going to have to move the Capcom I/O board because I have to get in there. So maybe I'll disconnect that with you and move it, or maybe I'll just disconnect it off film and then to get in there, because again, we're going to put this together later on, and I'll show you when I actually do the cabinet review, you know, what it's for and whatever else. So let me set you up. I'll remove this, and let's try this out. Okay, so I've removed the Capcom I/O board. Here is the one of the lines, like one of the wires, and then here's the other one. So I have 1 and 2. I'm going to do 1 first. So let me get now. Shoot, maybe no, I can do it. Okay, so I'm going to just leave this outside for now. That's the wire. Now I have my pliers. So let's see what happens here. All right, so you guys can see pretty much, huh? So again, the wire is in. I can spot 1. Now I put this end in. Can only go in one way. So all I have to do, so I've kept this together. Move this further down. Okay, that's in. So they're both together. Now I'm going to clamp this and hopefully it works. So that looks pretty good. So on and on. So it's like a little jagged inside. So see that? So I just press down with my plier. This side, which is going to be the extended wire going up to the new auxiliary button. And then this existing. So we're going to then close this. Let's show you. So hear that little snap? Closes. So one is done. That's not too bad. Cool. So one is done. Now while I have it, let's do the other one. So one is for the credit. One is for, we're going to be for the, move this out of the way. I don't want this to be jerked around too much either. Okay, one is for the one is for the credit and one is for the test. So I just want the slack to be here. Oh, good. Okay, perfect. So this part here. So again, I did not. This is the part that goes into the blue, and you can do this for any wire. I mean, in theory, you can just. I might actually do this to my credit 1 on my Pac-Man that doesn't have a free play, because all I'm going to do is so when the credit button touches the 1, it starts. So anyways, that's later on. So this is going to go up to the up part, and then so then the exposed wire, I can solder it or put it together, and then this goes in to this blue part. So that actually went pretty good, I have to admit. All right, let's try it number 2. The second one, I should say. Okay, so move over there. Okay, that goes in. Okay, good. I'm doing this one-handed. Good, that's in. Pretty good. Good. Okay, so I'm holding it tight like this. Can you see? Yes, you can. Let's press down. So that went in. Let's check it. So this is tight. That doesn't come out. We clamp it down. You can hear it. You hear that little click? Done. So let me just move this out of the way, and let's put it back. So hopefully this works. So it went very smoothly. Hopefully it works. So this goes now to the credit button. Now that goes to the credit button. This here is for the coin mech, really quick if you're curious. The Japanese coin mechs are actually powered. The mech is powered. And I've been playing with it because I wanted to actually see if I can, because it came with a yen. And I was playing with it and I think I screwed it up, I'm not going to lie. So yeah, we'll look at that another time. So anyway, so there's that part, that's one. So I'm going to bring this up individually so I can organize. Actually, it doesn't matter. Let me move this. So there's that, and then let's plug in this. So this is for the test. Let's plug it in here. Good. So that's plugged in. The ground's in. And again, I could have taken the ground. Remember how up there the wire kind of split, but then I put it onto a button. I could have actually done it with here, but everything is nice and close there, and nice and neat. So why not? And then again, later on, I'll show you this, and we'll tie it up. And what we're going to do is. We can actually take the end of this. Ooh, that's a smart idea. Oh, that's going to be a pain in the ass, though. What I was going to say is what we can do is run this wire under, on these plastic ribbons, but I'll run it like underneath where the other ones are for the audio. So we'll organize that in a second. So yeah, actually, you know what? I'm going to do it now. I don't want to get disorganized. I'm going to run this. And I'm going to run it nice and neat up in here and up there, so then it goes up there. Later, and then I'll use the wire ties and then tie them neatly so they're all connected. But again, I want to make sure it works first. So once everything works, We'll then solder quick, a couple drips or drops, put the tape, burn it a little so it becomes like the tube, the shielding tube, and then we should be good. And then onto the buttons and the joystick. So let me show you up front in a second, and then we'll start to put everything together. Okay, so like I said, I just fed the wires through. I've labeled this one test, if you can see, so that's going to be the test switch. This other red wire here is going to be the credit. So what we'll do now is, if you can see, this is the daisy chain here. So this is going to be for the credit. So in theory, we're going to go here, here. So that's going to be the credit. Because remember, we're going to have credit, and we're going to tie these down to make sure it works. We're going to have credit 1, credit 2, and in the middle is going to be the test. So you see this wire just right here lingering? This is going to be the test switch. So these are the credit. So let's get the credit, which is here. And ideally what we're going to do just right here is bend it like that. Now this gauge wire is a little heavier, so it's a little harder to always bend. So that's done. Again, we'll maybe drop a drop of solder, and also and then put the tubing on it. So that's done. Again, just to make sure it works. And then this is going to be for the test switch, which again is its own circuit switch. So again, yeah, we have to tie up those grounds. So here is the, I'm going to leave the test on until it works. Here's the test switch, so we're going to just bend it. Like that. And then like that. To make sure it works. So that is now done. So we've just tested them. So on the left will be credit 1. On the right will be, on the far right will be credit 2, and then in the middle will be the test. So let's do it live. Let's see if this worked, and then we'll clean it up. So now, where the hell's the power cord? Oh, all right. You guys able to see? Yeah, you'll be able to. Let me turn this here. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to plug it in, let's see if it works, and this should be fun. Come on. Alright, here. Alright, so this is it. Let's see if it was successful. Let's turn the power on. So I just plugged the cord in. Okay, here we go. Hopefully nothing. Ah, damn it! What am I thinking? Let me put the. I have to put the. I know I'm off camera. Let me put the. What's it called? The Capcom I/O back. Forgot. So what I'm doing now, I know if I'm off camera, I'm plugging in the JAMA harness to the Capcom I/O board. And again, we'll tighten everything up and make sure everything's good, so everything's snug. Hopefully it works. Let's do this. Again, I'm doing it live. Whew. Let's do it. Good. So far, so good. That's good. I hear the fan. That's the Tato X2. So far, okay. Good. Good. Everything looks so far so good. Tato XT, you saw that. Again, it's really quick because of the an SSD. Okay, hard drive. Tato X2, good. Now, my Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition, it's working so far, good. I put it on free play. Now with this one, when you do free play and you coin it, it will not activate or not understand that there's a coin coming in. So I'm going to try the Street Fighter 4 Vanilla, which is not set to free play, to see if the coin works, and also the test menu. Okay. So far, okay. So connected. Okay, good. So do you see where it says credit 0 on the bottom? Well, barely. Here, let me move you. See the credit 0? Okay. So I'm gonna, on the bottom, the way I normally coined up underneath. So underneath, remember I showed you those switches? I'm gonna try it from there first. So coin credit 1 works. Now let's try the first one on the left. It is not working. Why? Oh, of course. Because this slipped. Or not. Okay. Let me just make sure this ground was live. It might not be live. It's not. Okay, no panic. What I'm going to do is take the ground. Oh, of course, because they fell off. Duh. Okay, one second. One second. Or not. Why? Why isn't it working? Huh. So it's possible that this this right here is not live, which is very possible, because I never tested it. And the good thing I didn't solder it. So what I'm going to do is put it towards a ground that I know that works. 1 second. Not sure yet. Damn it. So remember I was saying down there that we could hook it down there, but I did not, which we may have to. It's okay. It's not a big deal. See, the thing is, I never tested if this one was live. So maybe because it's unplugged, it doesn't actually get feed, which is very... Damn it. Alright, give me 1 second here. Okay. In theory, let's see if any ground wire will work. So that's a little unfortunate because we might have to run it from the main. Now, what I'll do is take the ground from the player 1 and touch it. See if that works. So obviously I know this works because it's been fed up from the harness. So that's working. So this should work. Nope. Not completing the circuit because it keeps falling. Does not work. Does not. Now, I'm not too worried because I'm going to try to take the ground from down there. Now let's see, you know what, well I'm here if the test works. There's not, oh, well it wouldn't because of this. So that did not work. See, to me, I thought ground was ground. I could be very wrong. So maybe it has to be on the same circuit. It must be. Let's see if the test still works on the main. And it does, okay? So what I may have to do, so slight miscommunication there. That sucks. So instead of running, no big deal. Instead of running this here, I'm going to just run it down there. So I'm going to pull that out and extend the wire. So I'm going to turn this off and let's try this again. Okay, so what I've done is, off camera, you know how I did the those blue splitters? I did it to the ground wire to both the test and the credit switch. So in theory, it's coming off the same switch. So hopefully that's gone through. If not, maybe the connector down there is not working. I'm not sure. So hopefully, let's do this, because it is getting a little late here. So let's try Street Fighter 4, and hopefully it works. Because if that's the case and it works, all we have to do is tighten up the connectors, put a little solder, put the shielding, clamp everything down, boom, bam, we'll do the wire ties, and we're done. And then we have to do the buttons, of course, so it's taking a little longer than I thought. Alright, so let's try this. In theory, this should work. And it does not. And it does not. And it does not. So what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? Let's see now if it works down there. It does. And the actual. So what I'm wondering is, because I used a thicker gauge wire, is it possible that it's not going through like it should? Because it makes no sense. All I'm doing is... Let me try one at a time. 1 second. Makes no sense. No sense. Let's take this daisy chain off or whatever. Or unless, is it possible I'm putting positive and negative to positive? I've never thought about that. 1 second. 1 second. Is it possible I'm putting... Let's try this. Maybe I'm not putting the... I switched the ground, the positive and the negative. Which is possible, I guess. Doesn't make any sense, because I should have the option of doing which one. Why is it not working?
Street Fighter 4.
Makes no sense. Why is it not working? Is it because I'm using too thick gauge of wire? I don't understand. Doesn't make sense. doesn't make sense. It's just an extending wire. I don't understand. Well, this does make no sense. All I'm doing is splicing the wire and putting it. I'm wondering, and maybe because I have a thicker gauge wires, they're not going through and touching correctly. So what I can do then is use a thinner gauge wire and see if it works. Because in theory, this should work because it's the same thing. This doesn't make any sense. I don't get it. Alright guys, I'm going to stop here for a sec because I'm not sure what just happened. It should have been very straightforward. Alright, I'll be back. Let me see what's going on. Okay, so it's been a few hours after, actually a lot of hours. I had dinner, watched Home Alone 1, 2, like 10 times. And here's what happened. So obviously it wasn't working, right? Here's what happened. Turned out, let me just get one. Okay. It turned out that you see this wire I was using. Remember at just 2 seconds ago I said, you know, hey, maybe it's too thick of a gauge. Well, what happened was I used a thicker gauge wire, which is I guess 18 gauge. Now the one that's in here is even less. I think it's I think it's even a little more, maybe like a 19 or a 20, like a thinner one. So what I did was I changed from the thicker wire and then to the thinner wire, like the ones that these are. So maybe it wasn't connecting properly. So that was one thing. Then I tried that an hour later, or not an hour, but when I tried it again, it still didn't work. So I'm like, what is going on? So my wife and I went directly to pretty much the source. I'll show you. So let me get my so I'm using my cell phone camera or light. So what happened was, you see there, I actually said, okay, let me just put it in. I ended up saying, forget it, let's just test one, and it worked. So directly it worked, so I know that I'm not screwing anything up. So everything I did was great. Here's the problem. Remember these blue things I was using? These splitters? I tried them with the thinner wire, and it still didn't work. So what I did was I removed all of them, and I actually just hard soldered right to the source, right in there. So I just soldered them all, and then it ended up working. So these things, I don't know if the gauge is too small. It is possible. I don't know if something's wrong or I'm not doing them right, or maybe they're not good quality. But I would chalk it up to maybe it just being too thin of a wire. Either way, it never ended up working with these, so I'm going to keep these still for maybe later on. I really just think the gauge was incorrect, even though when I read the package it should be okay. But maybe they're too thick. Maybe I have to get one for thinner wires. Either way, or maybe they don't make them. Either way, so I just soldered them in. So I'll take you live. And this has been a pain in the ass. So I had to solder. And so I pretty much daisy chained them, put them on. I haven't tightened these because I wanted to try them. So let's try it. Ready? What am I doing here? So that's the test menu. Now let's boot out of it. Okay. So first we're going to try if the original ones work. That's just the game loading. So let's load that. Okay, so as you can see it says credit 0. So if I come here and I test the green right there, it's a credit. Remember I was saying I was going to do credit 1? Where's my phone? Remember I said I was going to do credit 1 and credit 2, so same thing. Just daisy chain them together, so let's try it. Here's number 1. And the credit. Here again, the second one. And it works. So it ended up working, just tedious. Again, it has to be the gauge. It's too small, the wire, for what I bought those. So those would work. I just don't think the gauge is big enough. And then here's the test. Ends up to being a test. So beautiful. Let's say okay to that. Let me exit. And then lastly, let me just make sure the original test works down there. You can see there on the left the red. And if it does, we're done. So this part, though it was long and easy, like I did everything right, it was just those little things were just didn't work with the small gauge wire. So lesson learned. Good to know. So again, really quick. Sweet. And then let's try the test switch. And if it works, we've done it. And it does. Perfect. Beautiful. So that part's done. So what I'm going to do is just button this up. That's going to be it for today because it's been a long night and it's near midnight. And yeah, wife's falling asleep. All right, so we're going to stop it here. So tomorrow morning, now that I'm going to button it up now that we kind of just fall asleep, I'm going to just zip tie these neatly and put them under. And then I'll show you it all buttoned up and neat. And then tomorrow, which will be the next part, I'll show you. We're going to start with this, which should be very easy. But every time I say that, it isn't. We're going to take this off, replace these, and that's it. All right, guys. So I'll see you tomorrow morning. And then let's see if we can replace this. And I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so it's the next morning. Like I said, I tied everything up. I soldered everything. Ow! Let me show you. Let me show you what I've done. So that's what it is there. So tied it up nice. Ran the wires as neat as I could, just under there, and I'll show you what it looks like in the back. And in the back, I just ran them. Let me see if I can get in here sideways. This is a terrible shot. All the way up from there, I ran it all the way down, nice and neat, and then tied everything in, so it looks nice and neat. That's good. So next one I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this. These little. So now that those are complete and working, I'm going to just now put where's these screws? Where did I put them? Oh, they're right here. So I'm going to just put one screw there and one screw there. So I'm going to finally tie it down because it was loose before. Then I'll set you up and we'll start to change these. Let's get right to it. Okay, so I've screwed down these two here. So now it doesn't move, nice and stable. Now, I do not have my what's it called? Like my screwdriver, whatever, with the tip that I can take it. I don't have it, so I'm gonna just use these. I know it's a little ghetto, but very amateur, but I have no choice. I just don't have them with me. So why don't I'm gonna unplug it. So again, look how you just unplug it from there. So I'll leave that there. Let's see if we can take these off one at a time. There we go. There we go. Okay, they're coming out pretty easily. Good. So what I'll do is, I'll figure just for the to save time. This one and player 1 and player 2 are identical. So I'll film this one. I'll film doing player 1, and then I'll skip player 2, and then I'll reveal it after I'm finished because it's literally the same thing. Just to wrap it up, because I know it's been a longer video because this thing was annoying. Like, it went through pretty smoothly. Like, everything went, like the soldering, everything went, it just took time because I was trying to figure out, based on process of elimination, what was it that was causing the auxiliary buttons not to coin. And it turned out to be those stupid little things. Now, you know, it's my fault though, because I know that the gauge wire, I mean, it shows that it cut. I just know the gauge wire is maybe too thin. But when I was reading online and I saw people doing it, they said, yeah, this is the gauge, and I don't know what happened. Anyways, who cares? Actually, before it falls, I'm going to just, so you guys can see, I'm going to just do this and unscrew the head here. How did it come off before? Shoot. So with these, they're different. So there's a flat head screwdriver or whatever here, and you just have to untwist it off because it would keep spinning. So I'm going to take the white head off. There's that. Right there for now. So here's the washer here. Okay, so let's continue with these two more. Nut driver, that's the word, not screwdriver. Anyways. Alright, one more. And I've never seen this, so this is the first time for me too. And the buttons are going to be very straightforward. Just pop in, out, in, out, in, out. So I'm just popping this off. So there it is. So as you can see, it has the washer. Interesting. So there's another washer. I'm going to save that. There's the plastic. I'm going to take that off. So now, just pretty much put it back. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to start taking this as I do it. So there's no washer under here, but I'm going to put one over. So I'll take this one. See, this one's all gummed up. So no to that. So it's going to just cover. And then of course we'll definitely try to make sure everything works. Actually, oop. You know what? I'm gonna just take the shaft off because it's coming up. All right, so let's put it back on and screw it on. So again, just doing this to remove the second washer. Just do this. And again, that's been causing, you can kind of feel it grinding because there's something extra there. So hopefully this makes the controller even smoother, but the controls are butter. Butter. Like everything works perfectly. Okay. All right, one in. Two in. Three. Easy, nice. All right, let's plug it back in. Okay, so actually, no, I'm not going to plug it in because it doesn't make sense because I'm going to have to take the buttons off. All right, so obviously you can see the metal, it's exposed. It's exposed metal. It doesn't matter because I guess that's why they did the washer under it because it doesn't look as ugly. I always personally like my washers over because I always kind of spin it between rounds for fun. I always used to do that when I was a kid and I want to continue that. Alright, so that's done. Let me get the buttons. So again, these are Sanwa buttons. Alright, so I'll put the ball top on last. Let's try button 1. So again, as you can see, the distance or the travel time is a lot shorter. So let's do this. So I'm going to do one at a time so I don't get the connectors wrong or mixed up. Annoying. Maybe I'll just do 1 or 2 because obviously you know what's going to happen. This is annoying. So all it is, you just have to squeeze it in and push it out. Come on. That's an easy way. Push down on that and that. There, and then obviously, so I'm going to just peel this back as I take the buttons out. So there's one, and hopefully this fits. Better. Okay. Making sure none of this plastic stays. Good. So in. Here's the snap. Come on. Alright, that's snapped in. Turn it. Oh shoot. These are tight. You do not want to turn. Okay, so lesson learned. You have when I put them in, I'm going to put them in because they stay in. Damn. Okay. Shoot, man, these things are really in. Wow, you can really tell the travel distance. Oh, that's why. Okay. Shit. Okay, so ideally that's what it's going to look like. Let me just kind of put the ball top on just to kind of tease it here. So, there's going to be the washer and then that. I think that's really going to pop. Cool. Okay, so obviously that's all I've done is just put it in. Again, I have to turn this, and I want to just take my time, and then one at a time, boom, 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 and we'll be good to go. All right, so I'm going to pause here, and again, I'm going to take all 6 and then put the washers on and reveal it, and we should be good. Alrighty, so there you have it. Done and done. Took a little longer, just wanted to be very careful. I'll show you what it looks like inside. Everything works. So boom, same wiring, nice and neat. Took the plastic off. Okay. Try to do this with one hand. So they work so well. So smooth. So smooth. So easy to play. Look how nice that looks. So we're just about done. So that's it. Buttons work. Now the credits, again, they don't work because it is a free play. But again, if I wanted to, there's that. There's that. So everything else is done. So there it is. Buttons are fixed. Auxiliary buttons wired up. Took a little longer, but a good learning experience about newer tools to use. I'm going to put, so there's the old buttons there. This looks beautiful. We're just about done. So in the next video, what we're going to do is stickers on top of here. See how they look. Whoop, what have I done? No. Insert coin sticker, the yen. Gonna wipe it down. Insert coin sticker. 3 there on top. We'll see how it looks. The little sticker there, warning sticker. The other sticker there. Inside we're gonna put, you see that? Remember the cover I was telling you, number 3? I got that in the mail. We're gonna do that. I have the stickers for it. We'll put back the coin door, or the coin mech, even though it's being annoying right now and a little stuck. Put the serial numbers right there. Usually they go there. Anyways, and then in the back of the cabinet, I've of course put everything back, and then the stickers go there. So we're just about done. The next video is going to be a little shorter because we're just going to be putting on the stickers, cutting them out, and that's pretty much it. So guys, thanks again for checking out Top Tier. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe, please do so to see the finale of this. It's just about, you know, around the corner in the next video. And then we'll start to review the entire game cabinet, and you know how it works. So thanks again for checking out Top Tier. Turned out beautiful. Again, took a little longer, but it was worth it. Looks better than I thought. But again, my envision is almost coming to pass. Again, we have to level those casters because right now it's so easy to just push. And that's pretty much it.